Okay, so I'm back. I'm going to be streaming the rest of the game now. I don't expect it to be very long, but we'll see. Hold on. Just give me a second. Because I don't have my... Yeah, sorry if you just heard that. Alright, because I couldn't see the chat right there. And also I should do that very quickly. Alright, so I have to reload the chat because I just got disconnected from internet before I started streaming. I had to restart my router to make sure that it would be stable at least for the duration of the stream. At least I hope so. But okay. Hold it right there, you whippersnappers. At least now I don't have to rush my reading also. I don't have to like read it at as fast as I can. I can take my time with this. I mean, I have definitely enough time now. Okay, first Larry, and now you. What is with that scary mobster-like scowl on your face, Edgeworth? Don't treat me like I'm some sort of nuisance. I've been meaning to say this, but all of you keep talking about things I don't get at all. You're all leaving this lady in the sad, depressing, lonely dust that I'm about to cry in. Why did you have to speak up right at this instant? But you know what, Edgeworth, cheer up, because I'm about to give you the most wonderful thing. The most wonderful thing from you? It's so super special that I couldn't give it away to just anyone, you know. Ah, my special present of love to my sweet Edgeworth. Are you ready? Is this... It's a box of those samurai dogs, right? Yes, oh, Edgeworth. Here, go on and heat one and you'll feel as right as rain. I like how Kay looks like she's angry or something. She's annoyed by the old lady. Are we through here? Why did everyone get so quiet all of a sudden? Edgeworth? Tell me you understand the depth of this lady's love for you. I'm not one to hand out snacks willy-nilly, you know. No, sir. The thought occurred to me that maybe it would be good if I fed... Oh, yeah, there she goes. There she goes. I can't read that. She's just too quick for me. Are you done yet? Mr. Edgeworth, can't you do anything about her? Like, please? Get us rid of her? I don't know. There is no power on earth that can force that woman into silence. But I'm so sick and tired of it. All you people do is look down on me. Even this box of samurai dogs played me for a fool. It had a special design on its fan, like the Japanese flag, so I thought it was special. Huh? But when I ate one, it tasted just like all the rest. Oh, it made me so mad. Wait, a special box with a Hinomaru-like fan on it? I've never heard of such a piece of merchandise existing before. However, there it is. The red rising sun on this fan is filled in. Is it possible? Could it be? After the show, the samurai dogs were piled up on the dressing room floor. However, there is no such thing as a rising sun dog. This contradiction of facts between something that should not exist and yet does. The rays from this rising sun may be just what we needed to point us in the right direction. A present? The studio bigwigs basically told us to play delivery boys. We were supposed to hand the dogs off to the embassy people and tell them hi. I had to pile them all into the pushcart just to move them all. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You killed Mr. Kawakan at this theater and then placed his body inside the pushcart. And then, you forced the Steel Samurai to unwittingly move the body for you. It's time to piece the final pieces of this logic puzzle together, no matter how fragile or small the connections may be. Once we've found them all, the way to the truth will be revealed. Well, these two probably go together, because why not? The pushcart is involved in both cases. The killer used the pushcart to transport the body, which means that they had to remove the samurai dogs from within first. Therefore, the samurai dogs that were piled up on the dressing room floor were most likely taken out of the pushcart by the killer. Samurai dogs were removed. And then you combine that one with what's left. That which should not exist, this box of samurai dogs with a Hinomaru on it. If this red rising sun was filled in when the killer was busy removing dogs from the pushcart. It's not filled in, it's a drop of blood, I bet. And it's proof that the murder took place in the dressing room. As long as this red substance turns out to be what I believe it to be. Yeah, there was a drop of blood from the body when the old bag. I thank you. She's not gonna know what to say. What you have given to me is truly something special. Edgy poo! Mr. Edgeworth, are you sure you're feeling okay, sir? Mr. Alba, as I suspected, you killed Mr. Kowaken in the dressing room. How many times must I listen to you repeat yourself? Haven't you figured it out yet? Your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. The only way I'm going to continue to cooperate is with some definitive evidence. That arrogance, that self-confidence. You believe that you've erased every piece of evidence that could incriminate you. However, there remains one piece here, and it is what will put you away for good. Ha! You're bluffing. Oh ho! Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sounds like you finally found them. You finally found the fangs we need to go after this guy's jugular. So, tell us, what about that box of samurai dogs is going to put the old man away? The drop of blood, the trace evidence that will bring him down? Why, it's here, of course. This box of samurai dogs with a rising sun fan on it, this should never have existed. So I want you all to take a good look at this red spot. It's a single drop of blood. Huh? What? Blood, you say? Agent Lang, I'd like this blood analyzed post-haste. I've got to admit, I'm a bit surprised. I can't believe we found blood in a place like this. Hey you, get this down to the lab, pronto. But why was there blood on that box to begin with? If we think about the flow of the crime, I think the reason will become obvious. Larry, you said that you transported the samurai dogs with the pushcart, correct? Yeah, you have a great memory, Edgy. That pushcart was a bit too big for my son, you know what I mean? So to make sure everyone could see him, I had to pile some stuff in. I figured the samurai dogs were there, so I used them to fill up the cart. If what Larry says is true, then what were the boxes doing on the floor? Ah, I see. The killer took them out in order to place the body in the pushcart. Exactly, and that is when I believe the victim's blood found its way onto that box. But when my men investigated that room, not a single box of samurai dogs was found. It wasn't there. Because embassy staff members had already confiscated them. Yes, no doubt to hide the evidence of the murder. It's a good thing this old bag managed to steal that one box before they got to them, huh? Yeah, didn't she say something about that? The room that she was resting in because of her hip. She found boxes there, or something like that, and she ate like a dozen boxes, something like that. Looks like Miss Oldbag also managed to put this great thief to shame. What a scandalous way of putting that. I didn't steal, I received it from myself. Quergosalba, I'd say this was one very fatal oversight on your part. Obshaksha. Sorry to rain on your little love fest. However, how can he be so self-confident in a no-win situation for him like this? Even if that blood turns out to belong to Mr. Kowaken, then what? So, Mr. Edgeworth, it sounds like he's not ready to call it quits yet, huh? The sole piece of evidence that was left at the scene of the crime, that alone has shed light on a new fact. At the very least, we now have proof that the murder occurred in the dressing room. And you say that like it means something. Huh? Excuse me, sirs. Forensics? So? Report! What were the results of the analysis? Sir, the analysis came back and confirmed that the red substance is blood. I knew it. With this Quercus alba. Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might humor my question. Your question? The one from before, or have you forgotten? Even if that is Mr. Quacken's blood, what difference would it make? Like we already told you, it proves that the crime scene was that dressing room. But it doesn't prove that I am your killer, does it? That's... He has a very good point. The blood on that box doesn't prove that Mr. Alba is the killer. Then, this evidence, it's meaningless. That can't be. We were so close, sir. I want to smack that smug look off his face. Come on, there's gotta be something we can do. We finally found a solid piece of evidence. There must be something I can expose with it. Ah! I can't think of a single thing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. Hold it! Who said that? Who was that? It's too late. I won't allow anyone to stop me now. It wasn't me, pal. And it wasn't me this time either. It wasn't me either. It was me! Why did you... because I haven't finished reporting everything to you yet, sir. There's more? What? Hurry up and spit it out. Yes, sir. That blood I mentioned, it's not of the same blood type as the victim's blood. This raises even more questions. It's his. Maybe it's his from his wound on his shoulder. Don't I have that somewhere? That. He claims it's proof that he was stabbed by the masked II, so it was justified defense. But this is maybe an excuse that he made in the moment. Maybe the wounds didn't come from that at all. If anything, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was during the struggle between him and Kowaken. Who knows? What do you mean it's not the same type? You mean it's not the victim's blood? If it isn't his, then who the hell is it? I don't know, sir! All I know is that it's not the same blood type as the victim, sir. What should we do now, Mr. Edgeworth? I have no idea what's what anymore. Neither do I. My, what an amusing turn of events. That blood drop proved something to be true, alright, namely my words. And which one of your words would that be? The ones where I said that your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. That blood has nothing to do with the murder investigation whatsoever. Need I remind you that the blood got onto that box long before it entered my embassy? What sort of nonsense? Yeah, it's blood, pal. There's no way it's not related to the murder. So you would like to believe. But what if someone preparing the samurai dogs had a small nosebleed? What then? Yo, Cyberman Sigma! I guess that's possible. Damn it, have we been wasting our time on a red herring? The blood doesn't belong to anyone connected to the case. That should be clue enough. Quercus Alba, you bastard! Silence! Don't you ever address me with such a filthy word again. I've wasted enough. Your video editor tried to crash. Good thing you saved before it crashed completely. You should always save your work. You never know what could happen. Power outage or something. Wasted enough time with you, and you have your answers. Now let me through. Not so fast. Yeah, that can happen. Typical crash screen. Alba, it doesn't matter where you run off to, you'll never escape me. Someday, I'll have the satisfaction of sinking my fangs into you, you'll see. And all of Interpol will be behind me, working to see it, to it, that day comes. Do you know what your words sound like to me? They sound like the whinings of a pathetic loser of a mutt. Arrgh! Is this really the extent of all that we can do? Is the blood really from someone completely unrelated to the case? Or is there another possibility, someone else other than the victim? Just when I thought I had him backed into a corner, it is I who has been backed into one. In a situation like this, what would that man do? What would he who can turn any desperate situation around do? Turn it around? That's it, I must turn my way of thinking around. It's not whose blood is it, is this. It's whose blood could get onto the box like this, and if I think about it that way. If the blood got onto the box when the body was being placed into the pushcart, then the owner of said blood must have been in the dressing room at the time. And there is only one person that could be. Well, I must praise you for trying so hard. It's because of you kids that I was removed from center stage, and will be forced to live out the rest of my life in the shadows, unfortunately. But it's not a total loss, as the underworld will allow me more freedom than you'll ever know. Freedom like what the raven feels as it flies through the dark night sky. You can't lay a finger on me, not now or ever. The arm of the law is powerless before me. Objection! Powerless, is it? I wouldn't be so sure about that if I were you. What do you mean? Allow me to describe in one word. Pitiful. To describe you in one word. Okay. Pitiful. How so? Crocus Alba, your wings were clipped long ago. And for someone who is trying to fly away on them without noticing that fact, pitiful is the perfect word to describe you. Ha! Mere words. What do you mean by his wings are clipped, Mr. Edgeworth? Just what you think it means, Kate. We had already caught him in our trap a while back, with an incredibly powerful, definitive piece of evidence. Hey, Earth to Mr. Prosecutor, care to speak in English? What are you talking about? What piece of evidence? The piece I speak of is, of course, this drop of blood. But we know that it's not from the victim. I don't see how it remains relevant to the case at all. Ms. Von Karma, I believe that is exactly why it's very important to the case. And the part that is the most important is the fact that it's not the victim's blood. You're looking a little pale. Good. Then I believe you are already aware of what I mean. Then you know who the blood belongs to? Of course I do. This piece of evidence is the irrefutable proof that will stop the killer in his tracks. The blood that soiled this box of samurai dogs belongs to this person. Take that! The blood of the rising sun on this box belongs to you, Quercus Alba. What? Why is his blood on the box of samurai dogs? He's not even a victim. The blood fell onto the box when Mr. Kowakin's body was being loaded into the pushcart. At that time, the only two people in the dressing room were the victim and his killer. So that's what you mean. If the blood doesn't belong to the victim, then there is only one other person it could belong to. Yes, and that person is the murderer himself. That's the only logical conclusion. But Mr. Kowakin was the one who was stabbed, sir. Why would Mr. Alba have been the one who was bleeding? Aha, but remember, my detective friend. What if during the murder, Mr. Kowakin had fought back? You mean if before Mr. Alba could kill him, Mr. Kowakin managed to wound Mr. Alba? Yes, and I believe we have a piece of evidence that proves that he was bleeding then. What is the piece of evidence that shows that Mr. Alba was probably bleeding at the time? This one. Take that! I rarely do any editing work in terms of video editing, so... I mean, when I put something on my YouTube channel, it's usually just the videos for as I stream them, so to encode my video for the stream, I use OBS, but you can't really edit anything with OBS because it's not an editing tool. And when I did edit some stuff in the past, well, that was a long time ago, so that would have been... Yeah, the raw video itself, I don't edit it, so it's just encoded with OBS. To put everything together, I mean. For streaming. That was from when the Mask II attacked me with a pair of scissors. Yeah, and that happened way after he was in the dressing room. Ah, but is that what really happened? You can manufacture a weapon by smearing blood on it, so I can't just accept that as fact. Shall we try a test, Mr. Alba, and see if the shape of your wound matches the scissors? You really are something else, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't let a single thing slip you by, no matter how insignificant the possibility. You're one to talk, Mr. Alba. Yeah, I was gonna say, a long time ago when I did edit some stuff, but that was like 15 years ago, that would have been like a Windows Movie Maker or something like that, but does that even exist anymore? And besides, it's not really a professional editing tool, so... You've managed to give the law the slip for 10 years as the smuggling ring's leader. No matter the danger, you can hide every last ounce of fear and anxiety from everyone. You truly are a one-of-a-kind criminal. What was that you were using? AVS, I think? Is that what I saw? I think I used that at least once or twice, too. I am the master of my fear. However, to think that a person such as you could miss such a large thing. You believe I've overlooked something? You said that my wound was caused by Mr. Kowakin and that it was caused here in one of the theater's dressing rooms, right? Yes, that is correct. I'd like to point out that it's simply not possible. My wound is a stab wound, and one that could only have come from a blade. I wonder where you will propose that such a weapon came from. This theater was packed with security guards. It would have been impossible for anyone to come into this area with a weapon of any sort. I think Kowakin had it on himself. Just as Mr. Alba was able to bring in the Alabastian knife in a bouquet. Thank you for the host, Cyberman. There must have been some other way to sneak in a weapon of some sort. But as long as you can't prove what that other way is, all your talk about Mr. Kowakin stabbing me is pure nonsense. So if that other way does exist, you'd better hurry and tell me now. Much obliged. With pleasure. Wait, what? This piece of evidence shows us how Mr. Kowakin brought the weapon into the theater. I bet it's that. What else could it be? Among law enforcement, this piece is known as the Yatakarasu's key. That key! That's the key that my father stole from here 7 years ago. And it is very unique in that it is both a key and a knife. Meaning that under the guise of a key, it could have been easily brought into the theater. You couldn't dispose of the knife that stabbed you. Therefore, you wiped off the blood and placed it back in Mr. Kowakin's pocket. After all, the key itself opens the safe in his office. And inside that safe, there was a document about Kodopian paper. Signed by Mr. Kowakin. In order to make it look like Mr. Kowakin died as the leader of the smuggling ring, you had to make it so that the police were the ones who opened that office safe. All that hard work to save yourself only served to destroy you in the end. Shall we try matching this knife's blade with your wound, Mr. Quercus Alba? Well, now I should think that you're completely cornered and you can't get away from it. And that is what many call the coup de grace. Impossible! You can't take me down. Swine! All of you! Especially Manny Kowakin. This is all because of that man's betrayal. He sought to steal control of the smuggling ring from me by removing me as ambassador. Which is why he deserved to die while bearing the guilt for all my crimes for me. That's why I sent out the Yatakarasu's card and how this incident was born. Manny was supposed to be the smuggling ring's leader who was killed by the Yatakarasu. But I had yet another reason, yet another story that was supposed to play out. Manny's death was supposed to bring everything to a close. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for your meddling prosecutors. Mr. Alba, I'm afraid there is one more question I forgot to ask. This country's, or Alabast's, which country's court would you like to face first? Either way, it's game over for you. Edgeworth! He looked a lot older all of a sudden. March 17th, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. This is it. The big day. It's Mr. Alba's trial today. And next week is scheduled to stand trial in his own country of Alabast. Francisca is heading that one. I suspect she'll be serving a full course of whiplashes at it. Having to face Miss Von Karma in court right after facing you, sir. I don't even want to think of what that would be like. I caught a glimpse of Mr. Alba as he was being escorted into the courthouse. And boy, he looked about as glum as I do the day before I get my monthly paycheck. You know, I've been thinking, that flight attendant and even Mr. Portsman were all Mr. Alba's secret agents. Correct, that smuggling ring was the common thread between all of the incidents. Cammy Meal was to provide support during smuggling ops, using her job as an attendant. And Mr. Portsman was to manipulate trials related to the ring to end in their favor. Or iFly Airlines and even the prosecutor's office. No one was safe from the smuggling ring, huh, sir? I suspect there are even more members of this ring spread throughout the world. Yeah, it sounds like such a big op that I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. What is it, detective? Nothing. It's just, well, come to think of it, Mr. Ernest Amano's trial is also scheduled for later today, sir. I'm aware of that. Mr. Amano has been working with the smuggling ring now for over 10 years. He used the Amano Group's various connections worldwide to assist the ring. But all of that has come to an end and his conglomerate is now undergoing harsh scrutiny. I owe Mr. Amano a debt of gratitude, but he must pay his debt to society. Well, with the arrests of both Mr. Alba and Mr. Amano, I guess that about wraps up the KG-8 incident as well, huh? I suppose so. The real killer in the KG-8 incident 10 years ago was Manny Kowakin. And 7 years ago, the killer is the second KG-8 in the second KG-8 incident was Mac Rell. Those two facts are the unshakable truth, however. It seems that a lot of effort was put into hiding these and other truth from us. And I will expose it all at the trials today. You're solving cases left and right today, aren't you, sir? Chi-Chi, you and Dead Man. Perhaps now, these two brave souls who tried to make the truth known can rest in peace. By the way, I received some gifts from Ambassador Palaino. Let me guess, coupons? Shrimp, crab, beef? I don't need any of these, so I'm giving them to you. What? Seriously, sir? Wait, actually I don't think I want them anymore. The way you're holding them, don't tell me they're just coupons, sir. Detective Gumshoe, have you not read the paper recently? Ever since the two countries became Codopia again, its economy has changed. Really? And it seems that Ambassador Palaino has reaped a few benefits of his own from it. He has been announced as the official ambassador of the newly reunified Codopia. But what a pity. Even though every item we sent is a treasure, you don't seem all that interested. Well, if you don't want them, I can give them to my lovely assistant Kay. Wait, that's not what I said. So, Mr. Edgeworth, please let me have them, sir. Who said that, then? Actually, come to think of it, where is Kay? How come she's still not here? Hey, you've got to be more alert than that. I can't believe you didn't notice. I was even mimicking Mr. Edgeworth's voice for a bit. I totally didn't notice you or realize that voice was you. Lang, she says, ferocious love blooms with each new spring. Agent Lang, a pleasant surprise to see you here. It's been a long time since I set foot in the courthouse, but I wasn't going to miss watching the guy who screwed up my country finally get what's coming to him. Well, that and something else. I want to see you in action in court. Is that so, Agent Lang? We flushed out all of the counterfeit bills, so Zheng Fai is finally at peace again. And it's all thanks to you, so I just want to say thanks. Wow, I never thought I'd see the day old Wolfie says thanks to Mr. Edgeworth. I should be the one thanking you, Agent Lang. If you hadn't negated Mr. Alba's extraterritorial rights, I would not have been able to bring him to trial. I believe the victory belongs to the both of us in this case. Tch, a shared victory, huh? Look, don't get me wrong. I'll still never forgive you prosecutors. And I have zero interest in that truth thing you talk about in court. I've always done things my own way, and that's not about to change. You got that? I see. Well, I believe you should follow your own creed when you do your job. Yeah, and if there's ever someone your precious truth can't catch, feel free to sit around and cry about it all you want. But as for me, I'm going to get that person no matter what. Heh, alright. It's about time for the trial to start. I will see you later. I'll be watching your performance from the gallery. I'm looking forward to this. I prepared a whole ton of ticker tape for today's victory, sir. I'll help throw some around when Mr. Edgeworth wins. Hope you've got enough because I'm going to go call my man up as well. A modest amount of ticker tape goes a long way. Ticker tape. The scene shifts to the courtroom and the final act of this long tale begins. The legend of the great thief Yatagarasu. It's the story of those who chose to dedicate their lives to the pursuit of the truth. Prosecutors are those who seek a guilty verdict for the defendants they meet, and to that end, you have no choice but to win by any means necessary. That creed was forced on me since I was very young. However, I no longer think that is all we prosecutors are, and that is because it's scrolling so fast I have to read fast, I'm afraid. Because there you don't control how fast it scrolls. Even though I've only been away from the courtroom for a short time, I feel as though it's been a lifetime since I've set foot in one. And today, more than any other day, I feel the fight within me rising. Objection! And with that, that game is over. That's another Ace Attorney game down. Well, in the future, I will be playing Miles Edgeworth Investigations 2. But the next game I'm gonna be streaming will be Banjo-Tooie, and maybe a few others in between before I get to Miles Edgeworth Investigations 2. She's been selling her suitcases on the internet. Thanks to the praise the art world has lavished on my work as being truly postmodern. The airline has chosen me to design their new line of iFly jumbo jets. Just think, someday you will be able to take a ride in my pink-walled, yellow-seated jet. Yeah, so even if I continued streaming earlier, I would not have had enough time to reach the ending and let the credits roll, so... Yeah, the ending was really really dragging by the end, I must say. Because of him, my time and money is wasted, but more importantly, I received the most fantastic treasure recently, the Primedux statue of the Principality of Codopia. It weighs a bit light in my hands, but the Ambassador Palaino was most generous. He gave him the fake, I bet. I bet he got the fake statue. We finally caught Agent X's killer, and I was able to witness Mr. Alba's teary eyes. It feels good to finally bring everything to a close. I received another offer from Interpol to work another case in cooperation with them. However, the Codopian courts await. Codopia's air is supposed to be very fresh, so my whip should find new vigor there. This little patrolman has been fired as of today, sir. I thought I was safe since we found the gun I had dropped. But I hadn't noticed that I had dropped my police badge too. I guess what really broke the camel's back was that I couldn't find my badge. My little life has suddenly tripped into a dark black hole, sir. I think I'll go to the courthouse and file a complaint with Ruffles Man. Ruffles Man? Hey, Emaskai. I was actually hoping to talk with Mr. Edgeworth a bit more than I did. But I've got to get going and return to Europe. I've still got a long way to go and a lot of stuff to study there. Next time I help Mr. Edgeworth on a case, I'm going to do it as a real forensic scientist. I'm sure he's going to need all the help I can give him, scientifically. Yeah... She appears in Apollo Justice after this. And then maybe in more games after that, but I've never played those, so I wouldn't know. Because the kidnapping was staged, I was let off easy. But I won't be going outside much anytime soon, but that's really okay. The only prison I'm forever trapped in is the cage of love. The guard down at the detention center. Well, when he's on guard duty, he has such a cold look in his eyes, just like that prosecutor. But stop it, Lauren. When will you ever learn to stop being a prisoner of love? Yeah, she's there's a name for that. That state of mind when you constantly fall in love for everyone. An erotomaniac? Yeah, erotomaniac, I think. If I'm not mistaken. Since we judges are here day in and day out, blah blah blah. Apparently, Mr. Edgeworth teamed up with a thief and became a detective. Maybe I should team up with a bailiff and try to become a lawyer or something. Do it, Capcom. Make it happen. Oh yeah, Maggie Bird. Is she gonna become a cop again? Anytime soon? Whew, I barely escaped death yet again. Yeah, but boy were we lucky to have Mr. Edgeworth to help us out, huh? Yeah, but because I lost the key, I got fired from my security guard job. Don't let it get you down, Maggie. You've still got me. You're right, sir. I won't be sad. I'm going to pick myself up and get through this. I wonder what my next job should be. Oh, this is actually kind of fun. Why not come to Codopia for your summer vacation? We have coupons aplenty. Right now, our embassy is proud to present our Let's Investigate a Murder show. Although recreating that particular case has created a few small, then we had a few problems with the fire marshals, but the next event will be great. It will be an attraction entitled Capture the Yatakarasu. Of course, I hope to enlist case help in creating our latest attraction. There's Larry. I can't believe that Mindy ditched me and went to Japan. But it's okay, because that's how I met Miyaru. We're planning to go to Paris soon and start a business. We're going to sell Blue Ocean dogs. They'll sell like hotcake hot dogs for sure. A blue hot dog is in a blue bun. I guarantee it'll turn your tongue and your face blue. I know I'm not really the type to work a lot, or at all really, but... Oh, so I noticed that I really haven't seen the guy in the blue suit at all recently. I wonder what's up. Well, the next time we meet, I'm gonna make him eat one of my dogs. Well, I do wonder if this is taking place during Apollo Justice or before or whatever. Well, no, yeah, it's several years before. Considering how young Emma Sky is in this one. Today I gave testimony in court today. As a member of the Yatakarasu, that's twice you said today. Yo, Mr. Bad, you look well, all things considered. By the way, have you noticed that elements within the ring have begun moving? They're probably fighting over who should succeed. Over who should be the next boss. Although, to be honest, I wish I could forget I'd ever heard of that smuggling ring. Lunksy says, thoroughly bite the poisonous snake from head to tail. No one runs afoul of the law and escapes this wolf's fangs. I'll get you all yet. Ah, youth. When did I become so old, I wonder? I've begun noticing the gray hairs in my beard more. I'm thinking of retiring my mirror. Keiji Inafune. Want the old bag? I was the Pink Princess and the Pig Badger, all in the span of 2 days. Talk about busy. But it's alright, because I got a letter from my beloved Edgy Poo. Please, take care of your hip. And when you wish to speak, first take off your headpiece. What does he mean by that last statement? It's not like I enjoy being under a headpiece every time I see him. Blah 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 blah. So, post-credit sequence? Yep. As usual. Whoop! I feel so much better now that the trial's over. And as always, your legal prowess was top-notch. Yeah, nothing beat the look of on Mr. Alba's face when you revealed the ring's secrets. I was amazed. You're like a totally different person when you step into a courtroom. Mr. Edgeworth is always 10 times fiercer in court. Based on the information Mr. Alba offered up, they've begun large-scale operations to clean up the rest of the ring, which I'm happy to leave to Francisca and Agent Lang. So what are your plans now, Kay? Oh, well, we've taken care of the creep who killed my father, so I'm not sure. Hey, I know. Maybe I'll just keep on being Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. Are you still trying to steal my job, pal? Just kidding, just kidding. I can't steal something so important to you, Gummy. Phew, what a relief. Okay, yes. Even after all that's happened, are you still planning to become a great thief? Of course, but I don't want to tarnish the legend of the noble Yatagarasu. So I'm going to hold off on doing anything until I make a tight 3-person team of my own. A 3-person team? A 3-person team of young beauties the same age as me, if possible. With those criteria, I highly doubt you'll find the 2 other people you need. My father chose to fight for the truth. I think that's what was so noble about him. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, the only things I will ever steal are the truth that have been hidden away. I don't know, go work for the police or something. I'm going to work extra hard to make a world where the Yatagarasu isn't needed. Let's both strive for such a future. Well, I guess it's time for me to get going. I see. Okay, keep your chin up and stay strong, okay? And don't be a stranger. Don't worry, I'll be back. I'll be sure to break the lock on the window and sneak in. If you could, I'd appreciate if you came in through the building's front door. It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. The lock on my window at home has been broken for forever. Oh, one last thing before I go. Let's take a group picture, just the 3 of us. Yeah, a commemorative photo. Every big case has to end with one. No. Hey, why not? Don't tell me you're camera shy, Mr. Edgeworth. Of course not, Detective. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm taking the picture now. Hey, come back here. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't run away from this, sir. Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Stop that. I can't be seen doing that. Okay, I'm totally taking it now. Say, cheese. Queso. And thus, the long tale of the KG-8 incidents came to a close. It saw the demise of a smuggling ring and the birth of a little great thief. But there is little time to rest and relax. For I am eager to tackle the investigation into a new case. The reason for my eagerness is my want to pursue the truth and my want to believe in the strength of those who use the power of the law for good. As someone who has chosen to relive my life as a prosecutor, that is my new creed. Yay! They're good pals. Well, that's it, I suppose. Right? It's over, isn't it? There we go. Well, yeah, that was Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. I'm done with this one, and I'll be back tomorrow for Banjo-Tooie then. It's not something I usually do, doing another a second stream in the same day like this, but there was just so little of the game left. that if tomorrow night I have like only maybe 2 hours or 2 hours and a half to stream, it would have been a bit silly to do like 40 minutes of this and then an hour and a half of Banjo Tooie. I like to keep things separate and in good large chunks because it's easier for me that way. So, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll be back tomorrow with Banjo Tooie. I hope you guys enjoy. Beyond Banjo Tooie, I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm gonna do. I still have to think about it a little, but I guess I have a bit of time because Banjo Tooie is a bit longer than the regular Banjo, so that should take me a good 3 days, maybe 3 streams or 3 or 4 evenings, something like that. But we'll see. See ya, guys, and, well, hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye.